Hi everyone, I'm Geane, Research Fellow in the Education School at the University of Southampton. It's a pleasure to have you all here for today's panel discussion on finding and navigating high-quality resources. Joining us today is Laura Hutton, the subject specialist in accessibility at JISC in the UK. Today, Laura will share insights on the power of community and co-production for sharing and creating high-quality resources. This is the last panel before the lunchtime. Please join me in welcome Laura to the panel.
Hello, everybody. I'll just get my slides and share them with you. It's so nice to be here. I realise there's been some technical glitches, but that's all in the landscape of working digitally, isn't it? So I just see them as makes it a bit exciting. Maybe that's just me. But we shall see how we get on. Okay, so I'm here to talk about a very brief kind of run through about sharing community practice and the power of collaboration when we're trying to create and use these high quality accessible resources. So we started out back in 2019, we started our community, and we are now at about 1,600 members in our community of practice. We have a Teams site and we have a JISC mail, a couple of lists. There's an assistive technology JISC mail list, as well as a digital regulations list, as well as the community of practice team site. So that is a wealth of expertise in there. There is everybody from brand new to accessibility, right the way through to some of the fabulous legends that we have in the sector. And I can see some of them are on the call. So great to be in that mix. But that is really one of the best ways we've found of, peer support in this area. So when one of the legends I've just alluded to creates a resource, quite often they are such generous people and they share it within the community, which means that everyone else can benefit from that. And we benefit from learning. And a lot of participants, when we do our annual surveys and things like that for the community, they talk about how the community is almost a little bit like therapy. It's that support, and that they really cherish being able to speak with other like-minded people who all just want to make things accessible and better and more digitally inclusive. We've got representation from all 4 nations, and we also have councils and NHS and other institutions and organisations that also come into that community just to learn from us. But it's mainly education focused, but there is just a huge big mix. I do believe there's publishers in there as well, so maybe we can start filtering some of our messages through, see if we pick them up. You're all welcome to join the community. It is open to absolutely anybody. And I think Kelly will put a link in the chat for me. And if not, I'll do it afterwards. So you'll definitely get, you'll be able to join. Some of the things that come out of our community, we have champions. So we've had champions in JISC communities for, I think we're in year 5 now. And those are people who are voted for or put forward from either other community members or people in JISC, and they're put forward for the work that they do and the recognition of the effort they put into the communities that we have at JISC. So we've had accessibility champions every year who are given the opportunity to come along to DigiFest, our flagship event, and just they get to shout about accessibility, and who doesn't like doing that? There's also working groups that come out of the community. We've had a few working groups form from things that have happened within the community. There was a maths working group, which I believe is still going, that was pushed forward by the amazing Lillian Joy. There was an HE captioning group. They were also doing some work, and I think they've segued into doing other things, but they formed and were part of the Teams community as well. And I believe there's going to be a new captioning group, or one looking at, sorry, not captioning, Braille support for students who are transitioning into university. So that will be coming in the future. So lots of opportunities to meet other people and work together on solving some of these problems that we're all facing within the education sector. There's also a buddy system that we have, again, that stemmed from two institutions that are active in our community, and they have buddied up together to learn from each other about the practices within their institution. So there is the opportunity to do that as well. We've just got one group going at the moment, but we're hoping to expand that. So if you want to be involved in that, drop us a note. We also run monthly drop-in centres, and we try to keep those very focused. They're online. We do them at the beginning of every month. We keep them very focused on topics that the community wants to hear. So the things that are your burning issues, the items that you want to talk about, the problems that you want to solve, and we try and just, if at very least, have an opportunity to discuss these things, but also to try and see if we can get some traction and movement and maybe help out a bit. And of course, I mentioned the resource sharing. There's lots of resources. There's just so many within there. So feel free to go dig in and have a look, because once they're shared, they are all available for people to use. And the people in the community are so helpful. If someone knows an answer to your question, 9 times out of 10, you do get an answer and you get a bit of help and you get to meet somebody new. So if you can, in the chat, we'll put in some things that you've seen that work in terms of creating and sharing these resources that we're making. How do you guys do it in your institution? How do you get the message out and share your practice or the new things that you've found? We have our community, which you can join. Do you have your own communities? If so, share the links and maybe we can boost some numbers today. We also have other collaborative projects that we are working on at the moment. We have a matrix group that has just started, started back in August. We recruited members from colleges across the UK, and our aim is to try and create something by the community, for the community, to have a look at how we address training across the country in accessible practice and knowledge. And so trying to take an institution and map the accessibility information that each role in that institution would need to know, so that someone from, for example, HR or a manager who wants to give one of their staff some training and support with training, where do they start? And we hope that this will possibly fill that gap. And so we're getting the people who are hopefully going to use this involved in the creation of it. So that's in its early stages. We've got some fantastic people working on that as a core group. And we also have an amazing set of people who are what we are terming our advisory group. And that's people from HE and organisations and consultants who are invested in this kind of problem solving as well. And so we're hoping to, in the next couple of months, use their expertise to further fuel the project going ahead. And so if you'd like to be involved in that, do drop us a line, because there's always space to have a bit more knowledge in there. So I'm going to hand back over to Kelly, who's going to talk about some of the partnerships that we do. Thanks, Kelly.
Oh, thank you. Just when you thought you got rid of me, so I'll just pop up again. Thanks, Laura. Yeah, one thing at JISC as well, I mean, we're a very small team for accessibility. There's just me, Laura, and then our colleague John Kelly, who specialises in the legal aspects, not just of accessibility, but also the use of technology generally and the ways in which the legal requirements intersect. So he looks at online safety, data protection, copyright, things like that. We're very interested in partnership working. Andy kindly mentioned earlier that we're, huge supporters of the Southampton Teaching Accessibility in the Digital Skill Set project. We partner with lots of other people as well, and we love a good project with lots of outputs and solutions. One of our big collaborative projects at the moment is Accessible Digital Futures. And it's kind of coming to the end of its exploratory period, but we're now looking at kind of taking actions. And I'm just going to pop, just in case it's of interest, we have an in-person, sorry, that Zoom's doing that thing of giving you the great big link in the chat. But we do have an event at the University of Cambridge on the 21st of February, if you'd like to pop along to that. But the theme with Accessible Digital Futures is it's very much looking at, which I think is very relevant to today's topic, is the ways in which higher education and industry and policymakers and influencers, as well as disability groups and other relevant folks, can all work together to create strategic solutions that really work. Because often I think what we find, we've got lots of people, like all the people here, we've got a lot of folks who are really passionate, but we need other folk to buy in. And even where we're really, passionate about accessibility, our universities are buying products that they have to buy because there's no alternative that are inaccessible. And so for all that we are teaching, our students to have good practice, and we want to be inclusive and to create accessible content ourselves, we're kind of at the mercy of industry with products that we have to buy. And because we can't just go without them. But there's very few third-party digital products used in HE that are fully accessible. So that's why we need industry, we need government on board as well. So we're very passionate about those types of projects, and also international work as well. Because again, I think the theme of today, we can learn so much from each other. Accessibility crosses borders, but it's also interesting to look at different contexts. So please do get in touch with Laura and I if you're interested in partnering or collaborating.
Great stuff. Thank you. And I realise I stand between you guys and your lunch, so I'll skip this last slide here and just tell you about our training and guidance that we have available. There is a Digital Foundations module that is free to members of JISC. So if you have a JISC membership, your institution has one, then you can download this module and share it with your staff. So we would love you to have a look at that. Please make use of it. And we're not perfect, so if there is anything inaccessible you find with that, you let us know, and we will do our absolute best to remedy that. But hopefully it works as best as we could make it. But we always love some user feedback. So I'll just leave you at the moment with our contact details. Anything that you would like to chat about, Kelly and I are always happy to hear from you. And it was really nice talking to you today. Thanks.